What's good, guys? Today we're going to be building a blog platform using FlutterFlow. And so in this video, you're going to be learning the important, and I would even say necessary mechanics in order to build just about any kind of app using FlutterFlow. And if you're interested in viewing and or cloning this specific app that I'm about to build and pretty much all the other apps that I've built in the past, you can do so from my Patreon page. So check out the link in the description, and that is a great way to support the channel and support my work. Having said that, let's begin. So here we have an architecture diagram of the kind of app we're going to be building. So we have two entities, right? We have posts, which is post singular, and we have users, okay? So each post is going to have a title, content, image, and the author, okay? The author ID is going to be a reference that's going to link it back to users. And the way we are envisioning this app is it's going to have these kinds of screens. We're going to have the list of posts. We're going to have search that you can do search on the device. You'll be able to add a post. You'll be able to edit the post. And you will be able to delete a post. And so before we even start building the app, what you guys want to do, and this is kind of a little life hack, is that you want to start thinking, okay, you want to start thinking in your head how exactly you're going to be building this app in FlutterFlow, because it's a lot easier to think it through first rather than start building the app and then seeing that things are not going to be working together. So obviously we're going to have a list view here. We're going to have a screen that's going to load up the data with that specific post, an existing post. Here is going to be a blank screen basically, and these are going to be the same kind of screens, just duplicates with this pulling in the post ID. And then this is going to be separate, which is going to be user detail information using one of the built-in screens. Another thing I'd like to do is I'd like to have a nav bar, right? So on the nav bar, we're going to have user information and then post information. So this list is going to be on the nav bar and the user is going to be on the nav bar. So it's just going to be two screens that are going to have access to the nav bar, meaning that it's just going to have, the nav bar is going to have two items there. And so I went ahead and created a bunch of posts. Users is already created. So I created 6 posts with some sample content, okay? And actually, as it happens to be, I am the author of all of these posts because the reference, this is my user reference, okay? So we have the title, we have the content, and we have the main image. So we have 6 posts here, and I believe the image is the same, but you will be able to edit that and change that around. And I also started a new app, and I went ahead and basically created a schema. So the users collection is actually created for you by FlutterFlow. So when you create a new collection and you type users, FlutterFlow is going to create that collection for you. But everything else, you have to create it yourself. So this post, it just has 4 fields, which is a mirror of what we have here. It's exactly the same 4 fields as we have here. So now that we have the database, we have the schema here. Let's go ahead and start building this app out. All right, so here we are in the UI. We have this one page, and I can go out and I can build it myself. I can build the UI, but honestly, I'm a big fan of kind of saving time and using pre-built templates. So let's go ahead and see if there's a list template that is going to be a good fit for what we're trying to do. So let's name this page. We're going to call it home page. And let's go into lists here and see if there's something that kind of resembles of what we're trying to do, at least as close as possible. So I want to see an image there. These images are really nice. So let's see. Okay, so how about something like this? We can edit that, yeah, or even something like that. Okay, so how about something like this? Let's go ahead. And what I like about this, we can make this a list, and then we're going to have an image here, and then we're going to have some text. Now, obviously, this is just one example. You can use any list view that you want, but I feel this is a good fit. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to fix all the errors. So there's a bunch of errors here. We just want to fix it because it's going to be harder to fix it later. We always want to be on top of errors, right? We have this thing now, as always, these are duplicates, right? These containers. So what we want to do is we want to delete all the other containers, all the other duplicates beside the first one. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to delete this one, and we just have one container left, all right? The next thing we want to do is we want to load up this list view with the data that we have, right? This list view is going to display actual data. So we're going to come here, we're going to say query collection, we're going to say post, and we're going to say confirm. Okay, once we do that, now it's getting duplicated, kind of repeated in the right way, so to speak, all right? The other thing that we want to do is maybe we want to create like a search screen, okay? So we have this row. Why don't we go ahead and duplicate it? And now we have two of them. I'm going to remove this text, and I'm going to add a text input here. Okay, we're going to drag it up on top, and we can replace this by a button. So basically, come here, we have a button, put it below it, delete this one, make it a little bit smaller. Let's go to this button here. Let's call it, let's come in here, and let's call it search. Okay, let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, that about looks right. Let's rename this to search. Okay, so now we're going to be doing on-device search here, okay? Actually, this one here, we don't really need it. I mean, we can have filters and stuff, and you can filter stuff, but let's go ahead and not do this for now. And so we have search and we have search. What we want to do, we want to rename this to post, just kind of do a little bit of decorative stuff. We want to create maybe a page title. Okay, that looks much better. And we want to create a navbar. Okay, so show this page on navbar. It's going to say we need 2 pages. And so I'm going to go ahead and get a profile page. And here, profile, this is into settings. And let's go ahead and use, I don't know which one is good. They're all the same. Okay, so it's maybe something like this. Okay, so this is going to be our profile information. Okay. And okay, that looks great. You can do all that. And let's go back to homepage and let's create this navbar here. Show this page on navbar. Now, one thing to point out is this is an edit page, right? So the idea is you're going to have a profile, and this is going to be the second page with the edit. We're just going to keep this page as is, okay? So just to simplify things, because essentially we need to create the actual profile page and then have the flow. And you've seen me do it before, so that is very, very simple. I just want to have kind of a profile page. Let's go ahead and change the home outline. Let's do it as a person. Okay, so something like this maybe, so that it differs. We can delete this initial page. So we have the home page and we have the profile page. Okay, it looks great to me. Let me change that icon here. I don't want it outlined. Just like that. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get this stuff to be displaying the posts. All right, so we're going to go into image here. We're going to say set from variable. We have the post document image. We're going to say this is going to be the title. And here we can have a little bit of the content, not all of it, but some of it. So we're going to delete this and have a little bit of content. So I'm going to come here and do content. And a really nice thing that FlutterFlow does is that we can set max characters allowed. So let's say 30 characters, and we're going to do an ellipsis. Okay, so it's going to have a little bit of a preview, but not all of it, obviously, because that's not going to look nice. All right, so we have that. Next, let's go ahead and create a post edit page, right? So I'm going to say post edit. And I saw a really nice page that kind of fits into what we're trying to do. So there's this create post. We can use it for creating a post, and we can use it for editing a post. So I'm going to say use my theme. And now we have that. And we can already duplicate it and use it as a post, add a post, right? So the difference between edit and add is that edit has a post ID, add does not have a post ID. So I'm going to duplicate it. And this is going to be called post add. Okay, so we have that. We have profile. I'm going to move profile towards the end. We have home. Let's go ahead and link the two. So we have a lot of errors. Let's go ahead and fix that. So there's a lot of a lot of errors from basically from our templates. So let's go ahead and fix a lot of these errors. And let's go ahead and let's turn on authentication so that we can track who is actually logged in or not. So we're going to come to authentication, enable authentication. We're going to have a login page. I'm going to create a login page. This is going to be the home page. Let's go ahead and create a login page. Login. This is auth. Go use this one right here. All right. We have the login. And let's go ahead and delete all this. Do the same thing over here. Specify the login there. All right. Come back. Have the email set to the authenticated user's email. This is going to be display name. Display name. All right, so we have this configured. This is what's going to be showing up here. And we got the home page, we got edit, we got add, we have profile. Let's go ahead and run this page and make sure at least something is showing up. We're going to go ahead and create a test environment. All right, so here's the app. As you can see, everything works. The images are the same for the purpose of this tutorial. We need to change this. And we need to implement all the rest of the app. And next, I want to implement the search functionality just to show you how that can work. All right, so let's go back to the app. Now, before we implement the search, we want to do it so that the user who is logged in is viewing their own post. So if I logged into the dashboard, I want to see my post. I have to see my post. Otherwise, it's going to be a security issue. And so let's go back here. And let's go to our database query and let's do a filter. Okay, we need to do a filter where author is equal to authenticated user reference. Okay, so meaning that it only shows the post of the authenticated user. We're going to hit confirm. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if that still loads the posts. You know, you want to keep testing. Constant testing is a very, very good thing. So let's load this up. I should still see my post, and I do because I am the owner. Now, if you come in here, this is a good thing to build just to test who is logged in, right? Because otherwise you don't know who is logged in. So as you can see, this is my logged in account. And that is why, because if there was an error here, you won't be able to know who it thinks is logged in. So this is a good way to see, okay, so that part is working. Next, I want to do the search functionality. So we're going to come here. And first, I want to rename the search field. I always call it input search. That way I know that it takes an input. Now, if you're considering to do this search on device functionality, you have to understand a couple of things because the way it works in FlutterFlow is a little bit tricky. The first thing you have to understand is that here in the list view, if you're doing your query, on this button, you have to do the query again, right? Because this button does not have access to the data that you have in the list view, okay? The second thing you have to understand is that when you are doing the query here, you will have another list of documents that are the search results. And so you have to decide what to display. Because if you load the app initially, you can't display the search results because it's going to be empty. You know, it doesn't work because it hasn't been searched yet. So you have to display the initial search. And so there's a few things that you can do, but let me show you my preferred method is that on the home page, you move the query, the main query to the home page. It doesn't matter, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, if the person is going to go to this page, we need to load the data, right? There's no reason to wait until list view to load it when we can just load it at the top level. So we're going to come here and we're going to do a query at the top level, okay? So we're going to say pose, we're going to say list of documents, and we're going to have our filter, okay? So we're going to have this filter that's going to be author equal to from variable authenticated user reference, all right? So now we have the list of posts, okay? So that's available to us everywhere, okay? That's a good thing to do. Now on the button, you can do the search here, right? So in other words, if they type something, you can add an action, say search, pick simple search on device. Let's see, search type. We're not going to do Firestore collection. We're going to do documents because we are searching from the query that we've already executed, right? So we're going to go to documents and we're going to pick posts, list of posts here, confirm. We're going to search title. You can also search content as well. I'm just going to keep it simple, do title from variable. And what's our variable? Widget state input search, okay? And so now you guys need to understand is that you will always have the list view, but depending on the search, depending on if they click search, you're going to have this other list of documents. So basically 2 lists. Now that second list of documents could be empty. In that case, do you want to display it or not? Well, it's up to you. You can do it in a couple of ways. One is that you can just display the list and display the results if there are results. If there are no results, you can show a message here, no results. Or you can always display a list, and if they search, you just show an empty list if there are no results. That is another option. But for that, regardless of which option you pick, we need to employ the use of custom functions, okay? So in this list view, we need to have a custom function. And for that, we need to go to generate dynamic children, come in here, this is the source, and we're going to create a custom function, okay? And this custom function is going to return the list to display, but it's going to take 2 lists. It's going to take the list, the main list, and it's going to take the search results, and it's going to decide what to display. So we're just going to say get result list. The data type return is going to be document. Document post is a list, yes, nullable false, and we're going to create 2 arguments, right? So this is going to be the main list, which is document, yes, I'm going to say false, and then this is going to be the search list, search result list, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say post. So we're going to go to code, and now we need to think of the logic here. And so the flow that you want is you always want to return whatever is not empty, and the default is going to be the main list. And so the flow that you want is you want to return search list if it's not empty, okay? If it's not empty, that means somebody searched, and you want to show that data. Otherwise, if it's empty, you want to do the main list. If you implement on-device search, you're always going to have that search list, and it's hard to tell if it's empty because somebody searched and they didn't find anything, or because it's just an initial load. And so you need to do something else. Not only do you need to figure out which list to show, list of documents, but you also need to show an error message if somebody searches for something and it's not found. We're not going to display an empty list. We're going to keep the initial list, but we need to show an error message, tell the user nothing has been found, so that it's stuck to the main list. And so let's go ahead and configure this function that we have here that displays the right list, and then I'll show you the other logic. So this is the main list we have. This is our post document, okay? And then this is the search list that we have. And all this function really does, it displays search result if it's not empty. Otherwise, it just shows the main list, okay? So this right here is the main list. This is the search list, search result list, simple search, and no further changes, confirm, okay? So now we're going to be displaying, let's give it a name, of course. And so now we're going to be displaying something, which is, we're not going to be displaying a blank screen. But we also want to have a flow so that the user knows that if it's empty, if they search for something and didn't find anything, that they need to be notified of that, right? So we're going to open the flow editor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a conditional, okay? So the conditional is going to be on top. And I'm going to say this conditional is going to be set if simple search results is, let's set a condition here. This is the simple search results. Number of items doesn't matter. Second value equal to number of list of items equal to specific value 0. And this is hooked up to our button. So if they click on it, that means that that's it. It's not like an initial state where it's 0. They searched and it's still 0. So we need to do something, right? So this is 0 true. We are going to go out and we are going to show them a message. We're going to add an action here. We're going to do a snack bar, and we're going to say specific value, no results. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's do a white text on a red background. Let's background, let's make it red. Let's make this white. Okay, no results. That looks great. And so we're gonna move this up, up, and otherwise we're gonna display the simple search. So we're gonna do the simple search. If it's 0, we're not gonna display it anyway, but we need to let the user know. If it's not 0, right? If it's something else, hopefully greater than 0, we're not gonna do anything because it's gonna be taking care of the list logic. So that is kind of what we have. Let's go ahead and compile the get result list function. So I hope that is clear how we implement that. And now we need to load it up with variables, all this thing. And we're always going to be using posts. That's it. That's our final, so to speak, variable, right? That we're going to be using this thing here. So if we come in here, that is what we're going to be using. So if we come in here, go to the container, we do this, we're only going to be using posts. We're not going to use documents. We're going to be using the item, which is the final variable. Okay, so title, we're going to say content, and content is 30 ellipses. We're going to say image, main image. And now let's go and reload this. And so here's the app. The default behavior is to show everything. If I type something that exists everywhere, it's going to still show it. But if I type something random, it's going to do no results. And that is kind of what we want. That is the behavior we want. Okay, so this is complete now. Let's go ahead and do the other things, right? So we need edit, we need add, and we also need delete. Delete does not need a page because it's an automatic action, but edit and add does need a page. So let's go ahead and add a some kind of an edit to this. You know, we can even do it as a stack, or we can do it here. Let's do it as a stack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this image in a stack, and then I'm going to add another button. Okay, so this button, actually, we're going to do an icon button. Icon button, we're going to regulate it. Going to move it over. Okay, and let's go ahead and change this button to maybe garbage, trash, delete. Where's that trash icon? That's the trash icon. That's restore from trash. How about delete? Okay, there we go. Icon color is going to be red, something like that, and that's going to delete it. And that is actually very, very simple. You're going to come here, add an action, database, delete document. Delete document, this post item, we're going to say reference. This is the reference we want to delete. And for editing, why don't we make it so when they click in, they can edit automatically. So this thing is going to go to edit. And then for adding, I'm just going to do it right here. Duplicate, and I'm going to say add new post, something like this. Let's change that. We're going to make it smaller, 75 maybe. And let's change the color, the icon. We can do add new, anything good here, plus. Yeah, maybe something like this. Okay, so something like this, right? To add, you can add it anywhere, right? It's just an example. So let's do this for edit. We're going to come in here, add an action, navigate to post edit, and we need to pass the parameter. The parameter is going to be post ref, which is document reference to post confirm. So we're going to pass a post item reference here. Okay, that is done. So now we have the edit. Let's add the plus. That's going to be, we can delete all this because we just copied the button. Add an action, navigation to post add. No parameters, nothing of that sort. All right, so we have add, we have edit. Let's go ahead and do our edit. So this is going to be, let's load up the post. Right here, let's say document from reference, post ref. And now we have access to everything. Let's go in here, post document main image. This is the text, content, tag location. Okay, that's nice. And we're going to say save. Save post. And let's increase this a little bit. And this is going to be add an action, database, not authentication, database, update document, post ref, and we are gonna update all the fields. Title, from variable, widget state. Actually, that's not title, that's content. Let's remove this, let's remove that, and that's content. Okay, that looks good. We're just gonna update content just to keep things simple. And we're gonna say from widget state, content. Okay, this is our user image, place picker. Okay, that's gonna save it. And then we need to add. Okay, so this is brand new. Make this bigger, 20. We have this details. You can tag, we don't have a tag location support for that. Maybe in one of the next videos. And this is going to do, let me rename these. This is input content. This is input image. Now for the image, we're gonna use an external image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and we are gonna add, we're gonna do a input text. And this is going to be the image here, image URL, so that we can save it. Input image. Okay, this is input content. And then now we can create the post. All right, and we're going to create a new post. Add an action, database, create document, post, add fields. Let's do a, oh yeah, we need the title. Let's do, and let's go ahead and add the title as well. Let's duplicate this. We're going to say this input title. This is going to say enter title, enter URL. So we have title, we have the image URL, and we have the post details. Title, image, and then we're going to create the post. So we're going to assign it to ourselves. Title is specific value to widget state input title. Content is specific value widget state input content. Author is us. Main image is widget state input image. And that is how you do it. That is how you create a post. So we have the home page, we have edit, we have add a new one. Oh, let's redirect this. Very important. Navigate to home page. We have profile for testing and for viewing. Page edit. Let's redirect this as well. Let's delete this. Let's redirect this as well. Home page. Okay, so we have the home page. We have delete. We need to redirect that as well to home page. And we want it to be instant. Okay, so we have the home page, post edit, post add, and the profile. All right, let's go ahead and let's see if this works. Create a new test environment. All right, so here's the app. We can delete anything. We just deleted Spain. We can create a new one. My trip to Spain 2. Paste it here. And here we have my trip to Spain with the default image allocated to me. We can edit it, so I can put 3 here, save, and it goes back, my trip to Spain. We can add the title as well. And that's pretty much how you do it. We can also search for something, so I can type something random and it says no results. But if I type something that is everywhere, we have all the results pretty much. And so that's how you build a blog platform. Obviously, you can take it much further. There's many things that you can do. And that perhaps is a great idea for one of the future videos. And so if you want to view and clone this specific app, as well as all the previous apps that I've done recently, you can do so from my Patreon page, which is going to be in the description below. I really appreciate your support. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a future video.